to episode 101 of Katrina's Creations. If you've watched all week long with our video of our vacation, thank you so much for watching. Today we're going to draw for the mystery yarn, and I'm going to show you everything I bought. So first, let's get started with I have a finished object. Now, this is my crochet. I showed you I was taking two different projects with me on vacation to work on that were going to be for the fall along. I'm not entering the fall along, but I want to do a craft along with you guys. So I almost filmed an emergency podcast because I was in a crochet crisis. I was doing the 8-pointed star, and I had it ruffled. I don't know what was going on with it, but it had ruffles. So I looked at the pattern, and I thought I was doing everything right on the pattern. I was actually impressed I was able to read the pattern. You know, I feel like I'm progressing in my crochet journey. I was able to read the pattern, but it kept having ripples and ruffles all the way around, and it was like, well, that's not going to work. It's supposed to lay flat. So like I said, I almost put up an emergency podcast asking for help from you guys that are crocheters to tell me what I was doing wrong. But I was sitting in the hotel room, and I thought, I will see if I can find a tutorial on this. And I did on YouTube, and what I've realized is I was adding a stitch to every single section. Somehow or other, I was adding an extra stitch. So as a result, that's what was the ruffling. So here is my finished project. And it is probably, let's see if I can hold this up, hold it in half maybe. It's probably about 2.5 feet across. So I had a lot of fun with it. I really like the center. I like these little spots right here. Kind of looks like a rose window. So this is going to go on my kitchen table, and I have a big ceramic pumpkin that I got at an auction a couple years ago that's going to sit on top of it. So I'm going to insert a picture of that. I don't do Halloween, but I do like the pumpkins and the other decoration. I just don't like the Halloween type of stuff. So yeah, so I have some pumpkins, so that's going to go on my kitchen table. Now let's go to the works in progress. I will show you the other project that I worked on while we were on vacation, and that is this poncho. This is a Craftsy pattern. It is by Aunt Ninny. It's called Play-Daptation Poncho Knitting Kit. The thing that intrigued me about this was it looks like a plaid. You can see lines going across in here. I wasn't quite sure how that worked. It's actually very easy. You knit in stripes, and then you actually overstitch. So when I get to this part of the poncho where I'm doing the overstitching to create the plaid, I will actually do a tutorial and show you how to do that. So let me show it to you. It's living in my little turkey bag that I made just for the fall along. And this is how far I've gotten so far. And of course I'm mid-row, so I can't open it up all the way, but it has like these kind of lines right here that run up it. I think what that is, I think this is where the overstitching takes place. Otherwise, if you did overstitching over top of the other stitching, it wouldn't be smooth, it would cause like a bump. So I think these are kind of like channels. You can see them right in here. All it is purl stitches in the middle. There, you can see them. They're purl stitches in the middle of the knitting stitch, or the stockinette. So I think those are basically channels for the overstitch to go up through. So this is it so far. So I worked on that. And then projects that I've got going on at home are my design shawl, which we will talk about in a little bit, because for my design shawl, I have worked a little bit on it. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. I'll show you where I was last time you saw this. A stitch marker somewhere? There was my stitch marker from the last time. So I've knit about an inch up, but it is 300 stitches all the way across. So it starts out narrow and then it goes to wide on this side. And each of these darker brown colors is a different pattern. And I've just gotten started on the third color right up here. Now, here's the funny story. When I went to one of the knitting shops that I went to this year as well, I bought this blue Party of 5 from Sweet Georgia. Okay, I bought this at the Knit, which is I bought this. And no, it's day 4. Day 4? I think it's day 4. I bought this at the shop called the Knit last year, and I've been trying to match the blue to do the solid color here in a blue that would go with all of those. And I was having a horrible time, and if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that I reordered yarn 3 different times trying to match it, and none of it did. So I finally ordered white and just went with that. So one of the comments for when I visited the yarn shops was made by Suko Muko. And she said, "Did you find blue to go with this?" I felt like going, I'm looking at all of these yarn shops with all this yarn. Do you know, it never even occurred to me to look for the blue to go with those. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, and somebody else asked the same thing. Did you find blue to go with that? And I was just like, I can't believe I was that ditzy. I didn't remember to even think to look for it, because someone saw me pick up blue speckled yarn and went, oh, that would go really good with that. And I was like, oh, they're so right. That probably would have gone really, really well with this. But did Katrina think of that? No, Katrina completely was, I was blinded by the yarn. Yeah, totally blinded by the yarn. So, and all the pretty colors, except for the blue that I needed. So, but one suggestion that was made with the blue speckled made me think that I might take that white that I have and not dye it, but I might dye speckles into it, because that would maybe, I'm just so afraid of it being so stark of a white up against this. But I think if I get a blue from each of these colors and kind of speckle it, that would look nice. It would tie it together without it looking quite so kind of in your face with it. So, you know what I mean? I'm just afraid it's going to be really stark looking with the white. So I think if I blend it a little bit with the speckle. So thank you for those ideas, and I really wish I would have looked for the blue while I was at it. So, yes, anyway, that's my design shawl. The next project I have going on is my poncho that I am making that sort of resembles the Tega shawl. It's kind of my own take on it. And last week, I'm making 2 of them at the same time, the front and the back, because I just don't know how far the yarn I have. I have lots of this. I have like, I think I estimated it around 1,100 yards. But with crocheting, I just don't know how far it will go. So I'm knitting them consecutively so that way, if I run out, I run out in an even spot. So this is the first one. So this one I haven't done a whole lot. You can see I've got a little stitch marker. It's a little teapot. There you can see it, little teapot. I haven't done a whole lot. I just put the blue on the bottom. And that was about it on this portion. But this one I did a lot to get it caught up to where the other one was. So there you can see my stitch marker is clipped right there. And this This is a little state of Pennsylvania, because that's the state I live in. So this one was caught up. So there they are. I have two the same size. And I really like this. I love single crochet. It's my favorite. I like the way, I like doing double crochet, but I like the look of single crochet. I just like the woven look that it has. So this will be a poncho eventually. So I was working on that. Working on the white horn shawl. Did I bring the pattern up? I did not bring the pattern up. Anyway, then I am working on the white horn shawl. And this was in Interweave Knit magazine. And I've shown it a couple times, so I'm not going to show it again. But this is the top. This is the top center. I can't open it up all the way because it will come off the needles. But you can see where I was last time, right here. And I have added these. And this is just a matter of some decreases here. But this little thing here is called a Latvian braid. And it sounds like it's very detailed. It really isn't. You are pretty much knitting back and forth. It's all in the way you're twisting the yarn on the back, and this is actually this would be what would be considered the wrong side, because if you look at it, if you were doing regular work, this would be the right side right here. But because they want this portion to show, you do it backwards. So it ends up very textured. And there's several of these stripes, or Latvian braids, with the stripe that go down it. So, yeah, that's where I am with that. And the yarn I am using for this is, and actually the yarn that I'm making my fall colored poncho is a yarn from Craftsy. It's called Sprightly, and it's on sale. I'll tell you about that in the Come and Get It. It is an acrylic. It's 100% acrylic. It's a worsted weight. I really like it so far. So those are my projects. And then I took on another project a few weeks ago. Janine McCarty, who is Yarn and You Girl podcast, I will put that right across here. She designed a gorgeous sweater, and she was looking for test knitters. So I was like, yes, please, I'll do that. So she sent me the pattern. It is not released officially yet because she's having people test knit it, but she did give me the okay to show you some pictures. So here is what it looks like. Those are like little holes. They're not polka dots. Those are little holes on it. It's kind of an over sweater, and it is called the Cooper Spur Pullover. Now, Cooper Spur is a part of a mountain range up in the state of Oregon, and Cooper Spur, the building actually that's behind her here, the rocks, it's like a shelter where you can stay at that particular spot, and it's called Cooper Spur. So that's where she got the name from. But look at some of these gorgeous pictures. I mean, the sweater is beautiful. Look at the scenery in the background, because she filmed it at Cooper Spur. So there is the sweater. It's not a cardigan, it's a pullover. And like I said, it's kind of an over sweater, so you would wear it over top of something because, you know, it's got little holes in it. So I offered to make it, and it is a fingering weight sweater. So let me show you what I'm going to make it in. Now, because I am a rather large woman, and this is an oversized sweater, it has a lot of positive ease, which means it's not form-fitting. If something's negative ease, like your socks, those will be negative ease. You want them to fit a little snug and tight. If something says it's positive ease, it means it's a little big, so that it's, you know, a little oversized. And that's what this is. So I need roughly between 1,900 and 2,000 yards for my size. Here we go. Look at that ball of yarn. This is a fingering weight, and I bought this at Peter Patch's 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Peter Patch's is also where I got the yarn for my Barton cardigan that was really dirty that I had to wash, but this doesn't have that same feel to it, so I think it's going to be okay. And this is a really pretty maroon. It's showing up pretty true to color. It's a pretty maroon. There we go. That's pretty much out what it is. And then I'm putting this with it. And this is really soft. This was a sock yarn that came as a free review yarn from Knit Crate a few months back. And it's got the same maroon color in it, like right in here. It's got some light maroons, but there's some dark maroon in here too. So I think these together, let's go ahead and hold this together here. I think those are going to look, that's really getting blown out. I think those are going to look really nice together. There you go. So that's going to be another project, and she's hoping to have it all done for the test knit by the end of November. So I will be working on this quite a bit because I really want to get this done for her. So yeah, there you can see the colors really well together. I think they'll look nice. So hers was done in a solid, but as dark as this is, I just wanted to put something in it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to put this in as some stripes in some spots, or if I'm going to do the yoke in this and then drop into this. I'm not real sure yet, but I do know that these two are going to be together in the project. About the fall along, and if you haven't been watching, we have a fall along running over in Ravelry. It is in my Ravelry group. If you click in the description box below under Ravelry group, it'll take you right to it. We have a chatter thread where you can talk about your project. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. And there's a finished objects thread. You guys have been busy. Every time I look at it there, and I try to check it every day, but on vacation there was a couple days I missed, and it was like, wow. There are so many entries in this so far, and there's no limit. It doesn't have to be something huge. It doesn't have to be something just little. It can be whatever. It can be any kind of crafting project that is fiber related. So it can be sewing, knitting, crochet, quilting, weaving, anything that you can tie in fiber related. It does not have to be fall colored, because I know not everybody's into fall colors. So it can be whatever you make between, it had to have been started by September 1st, and it has to be finished by November 30th. And you get one entry per project. So if you make 4 projects, you can get 4 entries. So there have been a lot of entries over there, and I think when I do the giveaway for it, I'm going to do a completely separate video. It's just going to be a bonus episode so that I can show pictures of everything everybody's made. Now, if you are not a Ravelry member, or you don't know how to upload onto Ravelry, do not fear. I got you covered. If you send a picture to me at my email address, which is KatrinasCreations@yahoo.com, or you can put it in our Facebook group and put the picture up, but make sure you put in that it's for the fall along, so that way I know. And then I can actually grab the picture from either of those places, and I will count it as submitted. So that way we don't leave anybody out. And I bought some yarn for the fall along while I was on vacation. Actually, I bought the mystery skein, and for our giveaway for the vacation videos, I also bought the fall along prize at Webs. I got them both there. So when we get to those, when we get to the Webs haul, I will show you what I bought for both of those giveaways. Several items that I'm going to show in show and tell this week. Charlene has a shawl. Really cute dolls. Toys. Now, Edna, turns out, has a blog. Yes, she has a blog. I will put down how to contact right along here. And she does reviews of children's books, but the children's, and they're well-known children's books, but they have little animals or little people in them that are crocheted. So it is really cute. And then she has crocheted some of those little creatures. So, yeah, check out her blog. I'm finding that a lot of you have different channels and things. If you have stuff like that, let me know. I will talk about it on the channel. So anyway, check out Edna's blog. Cindy Hart's Crochet and Setta's Place, which are both podcasts, and they're also viewers here on the channel. They have channels of their own, and they are doing Vlogtober. More power to you, ladies, because that's a lot of work. I did a yarn advent calendar last year where every day for 21 days, I opened up a little mini skein of yarn and knitted a block into my cozy memory blanket. And even though they were short little segments, it takes a lot of time. So I can't imagine vlogging for 31 days straight. So you guys are doing good, doing better than what I'm going to do. So anyway, if you want to check out those podcasts, please do. It is Setta's Place and Cindy Hart's Crochet. Give you a little bit more information about the vacation. Thank you for all of you who watched every day and who entered for the giveaway. And I wanted to give you a little bit more information about Gillette Castle, because if you watched the video, I gave you all the buildup of what you were going to see, and then we got there and it was closed for the season. I don't know why, because there was people waiting to go see it. We ran into several people walking around the grounds. The grounds were open and we were able to film those. And those of you who agreed with Dave that it looks like Fred Flintstone's castle, he was thrilled. Yeah. I do admit the outside of it is not really attractive, but it's the inside that's really nice. Now, if you would like to see the inside, because my video didn't show it because, of course, it was closed. If you would like to see the inside, there is several videos on YouTube about Gillette Castle. If you type in Gillette Castle, you'll find some of them. There is a very good one called Stroll Through Gillette Castle, and Rena happened to run across that one and let me know. So thank you, Rena. But anyway, it is Stroll Through Gillette Castle, and you can see some of the inside. And for such a big building, the rooms inside are actually very small and cozy, except for the great room. The bedrooms are small. They're just like little single beds and very small little bathrooms. And, you know, it's only a 3-bedroom house. It's not a huge, you know, it's not like going to the Newport mansions where there's 14 bedrooms. It's not. It was very cozy. And a little bit more information about William Gillette as well. He, like I told you in the video, he was married. His wife died from a ruptured appendix after like only 6 years of marriage. They never had any children and he never remarried. So he was very close to his sister and his nieces. In fact, they all lived together in a house in Hartford for a while. And then when his sister died, he was like a second father to his nieces. In fact, they inherited the castle after he passed away. And then in 1947, the castle was actually sold, I think, to the state of Connecticut to open as a museum. And they sold it for like $5,000. It needed a lot of renovations over the years. The other interesting thing, if you do watch the inside video of the inside of the castle, some interesting things about him are, you'll see this thing, it looks like a casket. It says Aunt Polly. That is not Aunt Polly's coffin. Aunt Polly was the name of his houseboat, and that was one of the storage boxes that was on the houseboat, but the houseboat caught fire. So that was one of the few things that was saved from the houseboat. He was actually in the houseboat on the Connecticut River when he looked up and saw at the top of the hill the property, which he called Seven Sisters, and that's where he decided to build his castle. So it's a very picturesque area, and you will see, if you watch my video, you'll see a ferry going across the river. You can actually put your car on it and go across the river there. And that's kind of at the base of the hill. and you'll see a paddle boat coming down the river, and that's part of the Essex steam train. My husband and I have actually done that before. We did the Essex steam train, and then you get on the riverboat ride, and you go about 6 miles up to where Gillette Castle is, and then they turn around and you go back again. So we have been on that boat a couple years ago. And let's see, the other thing about him, you will see this fancy china in the house. And then right next to the fancy china are these really tacky looking cat figurines. He loved cats, and he collected, you know, kind of quirky statuary of cats. So, kind of reminded me of Ernest Hemingway. He had lots of cats. Yeah, anyway. So he also had a servant that was very faithful to him all of his life, and they were like best friends. And when the man was too old to work, he actually built him a house at the base of the hill for him to live in, and he would still go down and the two of them would visit. So he just really was a nice guy. So anyway, if you haven't checked out that video of mine, take a look at it. But if you want to see the inside of the castle, that's where you want to go to check it all out. So you'll also see some kind of grass matting on the walls, and that's throughout the castle. He used it like as an insulation and as a sound, just to kind of cut down on the echoing of the sound, and he liked the looks of it. So they're kind of like a woven grass mat type of thing, like a thick placemat that are along the walls. So now let's get on to the drawing for the mystery yarn. For those of you who watched all week long, you could enter 1 entry per day by just leaving a comment in the comment section of that video. So this is the yarn that you will be winning. One of you will be winning. It is Knitting Fever chromatic yarn, and I got it in fall colors. There's the other side of it. This is looking yellow. It's not. It's kind of an orangey color. So, and I have knit with this before. It's actually falling out of the skein because the yarn is very, very soft. It is a single twist. It's not plied. It's really, really soft. I made my On the Spice Market shawl using this yarn, but it was in pink. It is a self-striping, machine washable yarn. So you don't have to treat it special or anything, but it does have some wool in it. It's 85% acrylic, 15% wool. And there are 317 yards or 290 meters here. So there it is. And now I'm going to insert, because I'm filming this in the morning on Friday, I won't be doing the actual drawing until late tonight, after everybody's had a chance to watch Friday's video. So I am going to insert the drawing portion later tonight. So it's going to be a time jump for just a minute. So hang on. Here it goes. It's time for the giveaway. We have had an amazing 597 comments made that were entered into the giveaway. You were allowed 1 comment per day per video. So, like I said, I've got pages and pages of everybody's names on here with numbers attached based on when you replied. So I am going to move the camera around so you can see the computer screen when I draw using random.org. Okay, here is random.org, and we have 1 out of 597, and I'm going to hit the generate button, and it shows entry number 207. So the winner was number 207, and let me show that to you. There's number 200, and number 207 is right here. It is Sandra Barker. So, Sandra, I know you are a regular viewer. I see your name pop up regularly. So if you would contact me at KatrinasCreations@yahoo.com. With your address, I will get the skein of yarn in the mail to you as soon as possible. So congratulations, and thank you everybody for watching. And yeah, there was a fun giveaway, and I enjoyed all the comments with everybody. And you guys got to know me better, maybe more than you wished you did, but I got to know you guys too at the same time. So again, congratulations to Sandra Barker, and please contact me. You will have 1 week. If I don't hear from you by next Saturday, I will be drawing another winner. So that's it for the giveaway. Giveaway. Now let me show you the other yarn that is going to be for our fall along. And again, I got this at Webb's also. I picked up, it's called Air Valley. This is from West Yorkshire Spinners. West Yorkshire Spinners is an English yarn. You can't get it everywhere here in the US. I've only seen it in 2 different stores. So it is 200 meters. It is a 75% wool, 25% nylon. So you could make socks out of it if you wanted to, or a hat. It's going to have enough springiness for that. It's an Aran weight, and it is a 100-gram ball. It is made in Yorkshire by West Yorkshire Spinners of Kiley, England. So here it is. And again, it's fall colors, but it's got some pretty kind of maroons and some kind of cherry reds. Just kind of a variety of everything in here. And is it plied? Yes, it is it is a single also. It is a single. It's not a plied yarn. It is really, really soft. And it's just some pretty colors. There you go. So that is going to be our prize for the fall along. Now we're going to get to the vacation haul. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go shop by shop in the order that I went to and show you what I got and what I'm going to do with it. So the first stop that I went to was Northampton Wools, and that is in Northampton, Massachusetts. I bought Jagger spun. You can see the label. Jagger spun yarn, and this is made in Springvale, Maine. It is a navy blue. It does kind of go with this, but there's not enough of it because the shawl that I'm making is a really big shawl. So this is, it's organic wool. It is 100% organic wool. It's 332 yards, and it's called Starry Night yarn, which actually would work with my party of 5. I mean, you can see the colors. It actually would go with it pretty well. But I would need another probably 2 skeins of this because I'm going to use probably close to 800 yards. I would need another 3 skeins because the solid color in that shawl that I'm designing is going to be almost 800 yards just for the solid color. So it's going to be big. It's going to be a big shawl. I will show you what this is going to go with when I get to that shop. I did buy it to go with something. Then I bought this, and this is Artist hand dyed yarn. It's just called Artist. It is 100% extra superfine merino in a sock weight, and let me see how many yards is here. It doesn't have a color name, it just has a number. It is 400 meters or 440 yards, and it is hand-dyed in Turkey. And it is Fisa yarns. I thought the label looked like it was a Fisa yarn. And this is a plied yarn, and that's showing up pretty true to color. It has some kind of grays, well, not really grays. What's looking gray right here is kind of an olive green. And I found some other yarns to go with this at Webs, which I will show you when I get to Webs. Then I bought 2 of these. They are extremely soft. They are Frog Tree. And Frog Tree is an alpaca sport weight melange. It's 100% alpaca, sport weight. It is made in Peru. They do not have colors, they just have numbers, and there's 128 yards. So I bought these to go together. This is a pretty purple. I don't know how well it's going to show up because purples and blues don't show up well in cameras, but it's a pretty kind of a purple crown type of purple, but it's kind of got some heathering to it. And then this is a lighter purple, and it has some heathering, and it has some of the same color flecks in it that are in this one. So I'm thinking this together is going to be a cowl because it's like really, really soft, and it's going to feel good against my face. So that's going to be a cowl. And then, if you remember, my Tega shawl, which I got this far and ran out of yarn. And I had told you I was going to get more of the yarn when I went on vacation because I didn't want to have to pay shipping charges when I knew some of the stores I was going to go to had this yarn because I looked ahead of time. I bought some. This is Hotcakes by Plymouth Yarn. And there is the color. I think it's called Denim. I think this is just the denim colorway. It says color number 4, but it's the denim colorway. It is a 75% acrylic, 25% wool, and there's 404 yards. So there it is. So now I'll be able to finish that sweater, or the shawl. So that was the first shop I went to. Then I went to Webs. So here we go. What I got at Webs. We'll start with, I bought a thing of sock yarn. This is Crofter Sidar Snuggly. It's a baby Fair Isle Effect DK. So when you knit it, it kind of looks like there's a pattern in it, as if you were knitting Fair Isle. So I bought 1 skein of that. It's 179 yards, 55% nylon, 45% acrylic. So it is totally washable. There's no wool in this. So there it is. And it is grays and purples and yellows and whites. So I'm thinking little footsies out of this will be nice. And Webs was totally overwhelming. If you watched that video, there was the main store that you walked into, and then I had been watching Once Upon a Corgi podcast, and she had visited Webs, and I saw she was in a warehouse, so I knew there was a warehouse somewhere in that building. So I kept wandering around, and I found it in the back, and that's where you see the warehouse shots that I took. And it was huge. I mean, each aisle was set up, like one aisle was super chunky, one aisle was chunky, one aisle was worsted, so it did make the searching a little bit easier. But the stuff that was back in the warehouse, most of it was at least 50% off what the regular price was. So I did a little shopping, just a bit. Anyway, there were really good deals back there. And then they had these little boxes that the box was marked $2.50 and you could take anything out of it for $2.50. And they had some that were $5, some that were $10, and some that were $15. Things like that. So yeah, it was quite exciting. So I actually did some Christmas shopping. I bought some things for not this Christmas because I've got my crafts made for that. This is for next Christmas. So I bought these from my mother. These are going to be a cowl. And they are Wisdom Yarns. It's called Poems. It's 100% wool. They are single spun. And my mom likes like kind of reds and roses, and so it's reds and rose color and like a tan, real light tan, a little gray. So that's for her. Then I bought some of the same brand here. And this is for my daughter-in-law because she likes pink. So it has pinks. It's pinks and grays that are mixed together. It's really, really pretty. So we have 2 of those. And then for my daughter, I bought this one. It's kind of a watered down color, but I kind of liked it. It was tans. It's mostly like tans and grays. It's very neutral. It's looking, you can barely see the color in it, but it has some brown. It's showing, it's really getting blown out by the coloring, but it's just kind of smoky colors. There's a little bit of a peach in the middle right in here, right there. But yeah, it's just very, very subtle, neutral colors, but they're kind of smoky colors, going from peach to a gray to a kind of a brownish tan. So I just thought they were kind of pretty because they would go with so many things. So that one's for my daughter. Then I bought some of this Sunseeker. This is by Cascade Yarns, and this is their Maltese. Now, if you're looking at this going, I've seen this before. You have. Back last spring, I made the Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry. It's a huge, huge shawl. It calls for 7 different colors, and you kind of stripe them into each other or fade them into each other. Mine turned out huge. It was 8 feet long. I'm going to, if you click the little card right here, you can see what it looked like because I've unraveled it. I could have mummified myself in it. I was like wrapped around myself. It was so big I couldn't really wear it. I would put it around my shoulders and it hung to the floor. And if I wrapped it around my neck, it was like over my neck, up my head, and you know, it was too big, entirely too big. So I ripped the whole thing out. But one of the colors that I had made it with was this color, was in one of them. And it does have little sparkles in it, you can see. And when I went to reorder some of this, because I ran out partway through and had to kind of fake my way through the rest of it, I couldn't find any of this. So I grabbed it because I do intend to use that yarn and put it all together because it did look really nice together, but I'm going to use it on a smaller shawl or in something a little bit different. So yeah, so I got a solid color and I got the Maltese. And the other colors that I had with this had the same turquoise, but they had like whites and yellows. They kind of faded into each other. And then there was another solid color that was like this as well, that tied it all together. So yeah, I'm going to remake that into something else at some point. So I got that. Then I bought these pretties. They're pinks and purples, and there's a little bit of gray in them, and you guys know I love purple. And I like pink. So I got these 2, and these are Liberty Wool Light. They are, how many yards? They don't have a color name. There's 200 yards per skein, so I have 2 here. And then I bought this one. This is Valley Yarns, which is Webb's brand, but it looks identical to this, and the purples are perfect to go with it. So these 3 will go together in something. I'm thinking in a very small, like shawlette, like a scarf type of thing. So those will go together. Then I bought this. This is a Heritage yarn by Cascade. It's called Heritage 150. It's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it just has a number. It doesn't have a color. And there are 492 yards or 450 meters. But look at the colors in this. They're like fall colors. Really pretty. Lots of greens mixed in with it. And to go with that, I have this green, which is another one of the Liberty Wool. So there's 200 yards here. So right here is about 700 yards. But if I need more, I have some golds that I can put it with, that I bought. I bought a bunch of golds to go with one of the other yarns. So I will show those to you in a minute. But I have a gold I can put with this if I need to. Then if you remember, this was the yarn that I bought at Northampton. Okay. I bought this green to tie in with it. And it does actually match pretty good. It doesn't look like it in the video, but it actually, well, no, maybe it doesn't. Okay, so maybe this green will go in with this one too. So anyway, this green was a Fresco Classic Elite yarn. It's a 60% wool, 30% baby alpaca, 10% Angora. So yes, it's extremely soft. So that's going to go in, I think, with that green one I just showed. But anyway, this one I got at Northampton Wools. And then I knew I would need to put some other colors with this to get enough yarn to make a project out of it. And that's a little tip for everybody. If you want designer yarn, but you don't, it costs a lot. For hand-dyed yarn, you know, it's not cheap. This was actually pretty cheap. It was $15. But it's hand-dyed. Most hand-dyed yarns are going to run you anywhere from $20 to $30, just because they're time-intensive, and the yarn is expensive, and the dye is expensive. If they're using acid dyes, it can get pricey. It's very labor-intensive to hand-dye yarns. So to try to make an outfit out of hand-dyed yarns could be very, very expensive. So what I do a lot of times is I pick out one that I like, and then I pick out some solids that are maybe a cheaper yarn. They have the same fiber content, because you don't want to mix acrylic with wool and vice versa. You want to make sure that your fiber contents are pretty much the same so that they wash and block evenly. But I'll buy a cheaper yarn that's in a solid just to put with it, so that way I can enjoy the hand-dyed without spending a small fortune. So here's what I got to go with it. I bought 2 skeins. Now this was at Webb's. This is Cosma. It's by Barocco. It's called Cosma. And it is, there's 164 grams per skein, or 150 meters. It is 60% alpaca, 30% wool, and 10% silk. So look at those to go with it. These two are the same color. So those tie in really well. And then I also bought this yarn, which is a Fresco Classic Elite. And this is also, it's a wool, alpaca, Angora. And that ties in with it. And then I grabbed lots of gold because I just wasn't sure which one was going to go with it. And this is also a Fresca, but it's the same as the other yarn, but it's just a different color. Because I wasn't walking around the store with this with me, because I bought this at the other store. So I got in there and tried to remember which gold would it work with. So I have 3 different colors to choose from. So I will be mixing and matching and putting them into this. Then I have a random purple. It is an Ultra Alpaca Light. It is by Barocco. And you can see the price on this. Oh, maybe you can see. There you can. $7.50, which is like unheard of for alpaca yarn. And it's 144 yards or 133 meters. And it is superfine alpaca and Peruvian wool mixed. So it's a pretty purple. And actually it would also go fairly well with this purple here. So yeah, I might be able to use it with that too. Those of you who watch, you know I love purple, so you can never have enough purple. So the other thing I got besides the mystery skeins was, I'm not a big chunky knitter, but I saw this. It's kind of tweedy looking, and it's mostly grays and whites, and it has a little bit of a teal, very light teal mixed into it. The reason I bought this, I have some Encore yarn that I don't remember where I got it from, but it's very similar. It's a solid gray, but look at this one. Encore is a Plymouth yarn. This has the exact same colors in it, but this has a little bit darker. So this almost looks like a small version of this, but they will definitely go together perfectly. So I bought this to go with it so that I would have enough to actually do something with, because these smaller skeins are only 200 yards each. So that would be 400 yards, but then this is 328. So that would give me 528 yards. I could do something fairly substantial with that. So that's what I got to go with that. Sorry, my camera stopped recording. The last thing that I got at Webb's was a sweater's quantity, which is 6 skeins of this yarn. It is James C. Brett Aztec, and it's Aran weight, which is means it's a little bit heavier than worsted, but not by a whole lot. It's a 90% acrylic, 10% alpaca, and it is a gorgeous, I don't know if it's going to show up real well. It's a very, very light, pale pink, almost a blush color. So I thought that would look pretty. So I can get it in the light, maybe back here. So it is a very, very light pink with some white, almost like barber pulling in with a little bit of white in it. So I don't know if that'll show up. It doesn't show up. So I have 6 skeins of this. Then I went to the Knit, which is where I bought the Party of 5 last year. And there I only bought one thing there, and that was some hand-dyed yarn. It is by a local dyer. She lives in Branford, Connecticut, and it is Yarn Catcher. And the color is Pool Boy. This is 463 yards of merino nylon superwash sock weight. And there it is. And that is pretty true to color. It has a couple little specks of red in it, but it's different shades of blue, and there's some tan and kind of a cream color. Now, if you remember the Jagger spun that I bought at Northampton Wool, there it goes. These are going to go together. And this is some blue that I had in my stash. I bought it at the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. It didn't have a name on it. I know it's 100% wool, but it's just a tonal blue as well. And so it's going to go with it as well. So these 3 are going to go together into something. So that's what I got. And then the last shop I went to was Madison Wool. And hi, Dana. Dana is the owner of Madison Wool, and both times I have stopped at the shop she's working, because she is a pharmacist, so she's working on Saturdays. And Saturdays seem to be the time that we come through there because we're on our way home. So I've missed her both times, but she did leave a comment down in the comments section, so I got to chat with her for a few minutes. So I bought this some of you saw me grab this. Now it looks solid blue. It is not. It is an 8-ply worsted, 100% merino, 218 grams. This yarn is gorgeous. It is, see if I can get the colors to pick up. It is a midnight blue, but it's got some purple mixed into it. And it has a very faint touch of a really, really deep teal right in here. So it's all really dark jewel tones. So the picture that I showed of it on the video, there it shows up really well. I mean, I can see it, but purples and blues do not film well. But there you go. It is gorgeous. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm thinking it might be like what they call a one skein wonder. I might not put this with anything because I don't know how well I'd be able to try to find something that would go with these colors. because they are just so unique. I mean, right here is a really, really deep purple. And like I said, there's blues. It almost has a glow to it because they're just so pretty, so deep. The purple almost has a glow. That's the only way I can describe it. But yeah, it is gorgeous. Gorgeous. So I got that. And then many of you saw me eyeing the minis. Yes, I caved. I bought one of them. This is Wonderland Yarns, the Cheshire Cat, and this is the Mad Tea Party colorway. So let me hold these up. I'm not going to take them out of the package because lots of crinkling will ensue. But we have a purple and black speckled. We have a teal. We have some greens. Over here we have some yellow and black and some green speckled into it. And then we have this pink and a deep, this is not black, this is a deep maroon. Oh, showing up good. That's a deep maroon. And pinks, and there's some speckles in the pink. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. People have asked, am I going to use them all together, or what am I going to do? I'm not real sure. I haven't really decided whether I'm going to put them all together or if I'm going to use them individually in something. I'm not real sure yet. I haven't thought that far ahead. Each of the skeins is 128 yards. So the total of 5 skeins together of these little minis is 640 skeins, or 640 yards. And it's 100% superwash merino wool. So, yeah, Wonderland Yarns. How pretty is that? So that is the end of the yarn buying. Fabric-wise, it's not really exciting. I bought, at Affordable Fabrics, I bought some gabardine in black to make a skirt. I bought some tan. And this is, I'm not sure what the fabric is. It's very, very soft. It almost feels like a brushed denim. So it's just in a tan color. There you go. That's pretty accurate. And then I bought this to go with a pattern that I have for a wraparound skirt. And this actually has raw silk in it. And the colors are pretty true to color. It's lightweight, kind of a cottony feel. Kind of a cross between a cotton and a linen. But the thing I liked is these little lines right in here where these black lines are. There's like different colors in there, so I could actually put different things with it. There's like some reds and some blue flecking, almost like tweeds in the actual lines. So that was what I bought at the fabric store. Now, our Come and Get It sales this week. All of my patterns are on sale. You can see them in Ravelry under Katrina Workman Designs, or you can click the link right down below in the description box. Click the Show More button. It'll drop down. You can see the Ravelry group, the Ravelry patterns, all that kind of stuff. And all of the links to the sales that I'm going to show are all down below. So all of my patterns are on sale for 25% off until the end of October. And to get the 25% off, you must use the coupon code KC25. My tote and the coffee mug that say Katrina's Creations are on sale. Also, you can get $4 off, which will pretty much cover the cost of shipping. You need to use the coupon code KC100 to get that $4 off. And the tote and the coffee mug are only available for U.S. shipping. That company doesn't offer international shipping at this point. So, other sales that we have going on. Annie's has Plymouth Yarn Encore, which I showed you some of mine. It was like this. Yes. They have that on sale for $2.49. Not that big skein, the smaller skeins that I shipped. and that's the DK weight. They also have King Cole Super Chunky yarn on sale for $2.99, and they have Plymouth Yarn's Dream Baby DK for $2.99. Lion Brand Yarn is offering 20% off of their Lion Brand yarn, notions, and kits. So you can check those out. Craftsy has their Sprightly Worsted, which is the yarn that I'm making that white horn shawl out of, and what I'm making the fall poncho out of. That is Sprightly Worsted. It's 100% acrylic. They are having that on sale right now for $3.19. They also have their Patons Astra on sale for $2.19. The Sprightly's $3.19. So make sure I said it right. $3.19. The Patons is $2.19. And the Bernat Satin yarn is on sale for $2.62. They have Bernat Chunky yarn on sale for $2.96. Now over on Knit Picks, they always have a 20% off of one of their yarns, and they are offering 20% off of their Mighty Stitch worsted weight, bulky, or super bulky yarns. In their clearance section, they have Pima Cotton for $2, and some of the dishy colors, and the dishies, which you use like for dishcloths and things, their dishy colors are running, some of them are on sale in the clearance section for $2.58. And I have some other exciting news. Hobium Yarns, which Yarn Addict, aka Kalo, who's one of the subscribers and viewers here on the channel, she has a channel as well. I didn't mention her earlier, but she actually has her own podcast. And one of the unboxings she did was on Hobium Yarns, and she told me about it. So I went over and I checked out Hobium Yarns, and then I was watching Sheepishly Sharing with Margaret Olander, and she also did a review of Hobium Yarns. So I checked them out, and I'm now an affiliate for them. So you can check the link below if you want to check them out. They have some really nice prices on some yarns. There's some names I haven't heard of before, but I've seen some good reviews. And I've applied to be an affiliate of Webs. Yeah, I don't know if it'll get approved yet or not, because you have to go through an approval process. But if I do, I will let you guys know, and that way I can pass on any sales that happen to be coming through. So stay tuned. Later this week, we will probably have 2 videos up. On Wednesday, our knit school will be doing increases and decreases. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to do some different increases and decreases. And my knit crate should also be coming in sometime this week. So watch for that video coming up. And I guess that is it. Oh, and I have 2 knit crate boxes coming this week, or this month. They are again sending me a free sock box for me to review. So, yeah, don't miss that one. More yarn. Can't go wrong with more yarn. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for all of you who have subscribed. For the winner of the giveaway today for the vacation and 100th podcast video, you have 1 week to respond. If I don't hear from you by next week, I will be drawing another winner. So you have 1 week to get in touch with me. And again, that is for the Knitting Fever chromatic yarn. So you can get in touch with me again at KatrinasCreations@yahoo.com, and let me know your address, and I will get it mailed out to you right away. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for following me on my vacation, and I will see you on Wednesday for knitting school. Bye, everybody.